Hello, everybody. I'm just watching people load on, so before I start talking, I'm gonna just give it a few seconds. Hope you guys are all having a great Wednesday. People are still coming in, so I'm gonna start with announcements, but I'm gonna give it a few seconds. We have a lot of people participating today, so that's very exciting. Hi, Renee. So, oh, there's the Q&A. She knows how to use that, of course. That is awesome. People are still loading, so I'm just gonna give it a few more seconds before I start. Renee is laughing at me. Oh, my friend Jim is on. I like this whole Q&A. I can see like people popping on and saying hello. That's good. Hi, Eddie. This is good. Okay, so we have like a good amount of people, but people are still hopping on. So I don't want to like, it's 4:31. I'm gonna like start at 4:32, I think, in just a few more seconds. Let this Zoom, we had like 170 people register, so it's exciting to see all these people coming out to join us for an hour. Thank you for giving us your time. I hope you get something amazing out of this presentation. I know you will. Oh good, like people are still coming on. So hello, for those of you getting your sound going and whatever's working. There is a Q&A box, it's for questions and I'll go over that. But if you are having an issue, you could put that in there as well, just to let us know. But it looks like it's working. You can all hear me, right? Like, I'm sure you can. I'm seeing a few comments come in. If you can't hear, definitely start putting that in the Q&A. All right, so it's 4:32. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I have a few announcements I want to make on the behalf of the Greater Sales and Marketing Council. So I'm going to start with those, and then I'm going to do introductions, and then we're going to turn it over into the presentation. So first, thank you everyone for joining. I need to let you know that this event is put on by the Greater Sales and Marketing Council. The Programs Committee of the GSMC is planning on hosting these like happy hour evening events once a month, and it's going to be every third Wednesday going forward until we can meet in person again. So the next event is planned for June 17th, and we don't know who's speaking. We haven't like finalized the details, but put it on your calendar. It'll be the same time, same Zoom place, and we hope to see you there again. And then plan on third Wednesday if you want to like mark out your calendar to spend an hour with us. That'd be great. We're also looking for event sponsors. So anyone interested in being a sponsor for the event, you'll get some shout outs and you'll be on all the emails and stuff like that. So definitely reach out to Jasmina Gill or Rachel Otera, and their contact info is going to be sent out to you all post after this event. So there will be a follow-up email and you will be able to reach them that way. So I don't need to tell you, you need to write that down. But we're definitely looking for sponsors. We're planning to end today's session at 5:30. We have until 5:45, but we really want to keep it to an hour in respect of everyone's time. So we're going to start with our speakers, and then we're going to end today's meeting with the quarterly sales awards. So there's lots of salespeople that have joined in on tonight, and you're going to love this presentation. It's like built for sales and marketing. But hang on till the end. We're going to start those at about 5:15. And Erin Meadows, our sales awards representative, she'll be presenting those. So at the end, we're going to turn it over to her and she's going to do sales awards. And then lastly, as some of you had figured out already, there's a Q&A button. It's like at the bottom of your Zoom window. It says Q&A. If you have a question at any point during the presentation, put it in there. I am going to be like monitoring the questions, and we are hoping to have a few minutes for Q&A before the sales awards, so we will go through your questions. So I think as far as announcements goes, that's it. I'm going to move right on into introductions. I'm going to start with myself because I haven't told you who I am yet. A few of you know, but my name is Kelly Borgen. I am the Chief Buzz Creator and CEO of Get Community. We are a digital ad agency serving the home building industry in the heart of Orange County because we are located in Old Town Orange and we love it here. I've personally been on the advertising side of this industry for 23 years, and we are about to celebrate our 10-year anniversary at Get Community this January, so that's very exciting, good for us. I've been a member and served on the board of the Greater SMC, so I know a lot of you for about 20 of my 23 years in the industry. So I've been doing this for a long time. I love working in the industry. And as far as our company goes, we just finished a guide to going virtual. It is a great source. It's a toolkit for our industry professionals, and that's going to be sent out to all of you registered for today's event afterwards, so you can get a free download on that. And hopefully it gives you some tips and tricks. And then on a personal note, I have 2 kids. They're 12 and 14. I will be celebrating 20 years of marriage this September. And I just finished Netflix. So I'm super excited. And I started Grey's Anatomy over from season 1, episode 1, because I'm thinking that will carry me through the rest of quarantine. So now you know a little bit about me. I'm going to ask Megan to show her face now, and I'm going to give her an introduction. So where are you? I'll see when she pops on. There she is. So this is Megan Eltringham. Hopefully I said that right. Okay, good. Megan serves as Corporate Vice President of Marketing for the New Home Company. She is responsible for integrated marketing campaigns and brand management standards across all divisions of Southern California, Northern California, and Arizona. Her role includes multimedia communication programs across social media platforms, interactive outlets, traditional advertising, and editorial relations, as well as budget management. So she is super busy. So thank you so much for being here, but I'm not done. Megan has more than 15 years experience in the real estate and home building industry. She has 2 adorable children, and I'm not sure of her Netflix status. Maybe she can tell you later. And then I'm going to ask Daniel Martin to turn on his camera so we can see. There he is. So this is Daniel Martin. He is the president of Paolucci, Salling, and Martin Communication Arts. It's a very long name, but they have an acronym, so that's good. An integrated advertising firm. They're based in El Segundo. At the heart of PS&M's approach is a passion for the arts, a strongly held belief that the right words and pictures can change the world and how we see it. The right message or voice can help us to inspire, connect, and differentiate in ways that make a difference for their clients. For over 20 years, Daniel has worked directly with clients like the New Home Company, Rancho Mission Viejo, California West, and City Ventures, as well as countless resorts and tourism boards to help achieve this goal. Daniel has 2 little girls, and we got to meet his 1-year-old Coco, who joined us while packed on to her daddy's chest during our first brainstorm. So that was a really great introduction. So thank you for joining us here today, Megan and Daniel. You can probably turn on your sound so when you're ready to start talking in a minute, everyone can hear you. Good, you're good. So let's get started. Again, it looks like we have a lot of people on now, so that's good that we had to go through all of that as people are still sort of trickling in. So essentially, we're going to kick off today's conversation at the beginning of the pandemic. It's like COVID-19, right? And we are all ordered to stay at home. And I swear for me, I know it was St. Patrick's Day. That was the day for us, the last day we saw anyone in our office. So we had been sending people home, and then for some reason that day it was we're done. We need to figure everything out from home. Luckily, being a digital agency, we were able to do that. But this has been a major learning curve for everyone in the world. I'm not even going to say the industry. We've all had to adjust. So Megan and Daniel, they have put together a really great presentation to get us started and it starts with the 4 stages of what the New Home Company went through. They really kind of identified these great 4 stages they're going to talk you through, starting with what happened first, kind of what happened over the last 4 weeks, and where we're going from here. So take it away, guys.
Meg, you want to jump in?
Sure do. Hi, how's everybody doing out there? I know I can't hear you, but I can feel you and gotten some sweet texts from a lot of you. So thank you for joining us on a Wednesday afternoon. Like Kelly said, I think we can all remember kind of where we were when this all hit and this pandemic came. And I actually was up in Northern California, and I kind of rode the weekend out with them closing down, counties and cities. And it was a pretty scary event. I was with our family and actually our general counsel of New Home Company. And so actually while we were there, we started getting notifications and going, oh gosh, we need to act. And so Daniel, if you could flip to the next page, we immediately went into, okay, what do we need to do? We need to get the message out there. We need to understand how this affects our team members and how it affects the people that are even considering, even looking at purchasing a home. So a lot of us out there that are listening probably had to do the same things. We had our website takeover on the left-hand side of your screen if you're following along with us, and it was just a pop-up that indicated, this is what we're doing to, let you know what the steps that we're ensuring your safety. And then you see, on some of the other images where it was all just really narrative and it was copy and there was no imagery. And New Home Company prides themselves in a lot of lifestyle imagery and more of the feeling of home. And, it really became we just need to get the information out and we need to get it out quickly. And so immediately we kind of took all these precautions on our social sites, on our website, to our interest list, to our people that were in backlog, to the people that have been following along with us, and then quickly then transformed into, okay, now we need to let people know that we're okay to stay open per se, but we're only gonna do it by appointment only. And then that's gonna be filtered through our online sales concierge program.
I think one of the things that we, in reflecting upon the experience a little bit, and I felt like there was even a moment where it felt very similar again yesterday with some of the LA County news that came out, which was a question of confusion. How quickly can we be reactive? Or are we going to be overly reactive? And working off the best intelligence possible. And I think that's probably something that everyone is feeling very, very close to right now, which is, am I working with the best information? Do I know what I want to say to the world? Am I going to have to retract it 5 minutes after it being put out because there's question marks around it? And I think that was probably, if I have to reflect on the biggest struggle that Megan and I were dealing with late into the evenings, going back and forth with communication materials, was, is it the right time to say this? Is it the right time to let people know to do this? And are we going to be right tomorrow morning? And it remains an ongoing sort of challenge. But I think we broke down these 4 steps and these 4 stages and really thought, man, that first phase of communication is all about just reacting. Get something in place as quick and as efficiently as you can.
And I think, Dan, too, just the transparency, I think it was really important to us to whatever information we had, we wanted our people, the people that follow along with New Home Company to be aware. And the safety of our team members, like I mentioned, was really important to us. And so we really didn't want to put out there anything that felt forced or canned. It was about just kind of, we're all in this together, and we really want to make sure that we're providing the best experience for everyone.
So as we got through kind of that first week to 2 weeks and some of the communication evolved into the private appointment process, we kind of began to gear ourselves towards what we called phase 2, which was this fix it. What do we need to fix right away with our new reality?
Yeah, and I think going along with, like what Kelly mentioned about, right around St. Patrick's Day, we had this opening that we had been planning in Rancho Mission Viejo called, our neighborhood called Sterling. And this project was highly anticipated, a lot of really good interest. We were preparing for a VIP event and a grand opening event like we all are used to. And we started obviously hearing about how things got more and more serious, and we decided to postpone this grand opening. But what we did is we didn't want to not be responsive to the people that really wanted to purchase. And that's what we've kind of seen, is that there are people that are in a place where they have a need and they want to go ahead and purchase. And even though this pandemic is going on, that they need to keep on taking the next steps. And so we adjusted and we did a lot of things in this arena that we had wanted to do. But, you know, with these events, it kind of pushes you in that direction. And so we only allowed, we kind of postponed the grand opening event and said, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. We're only going to allow private appointment only, and you have to be pre-qualified. And we felt confident enough that we had enough interest in people taking that next step to pre-qualify that we were going to be okay. And so we conducted private tours, you know, Thursday through that Sunday, and then continued on through that next week. And we sold out the first phase completely and had to release the next phase. And so right there was a proof of going, okay, we're in a pandemic, but yet we just sold out a phase of homes in the mid $800s to $900,000. So, you know, I think that was things that we learned too, was, you know, the virtual component, it was essential. You know, we had photography and Matterport tours that we typically don't do those till after we open, and we kind of moved everything up. And so we felt that the virtual component with that, and then also our OSC integration, which is our online sales concierge team, they were incredible. They vetted every single person that had interest, and it really just created a very successful environment for Sterling, which continues to sell out pretty much every phase that we release.
So as we moved past kind of the moments of having to fix things, I think our next sort of gauge of our evolution during what we call kind of a COVID communications plan was reconnecting with people. And I think this is where naturally, you know, the new home company, but also more so how sales teams that make up the home building industry really shine. Because I think what makes the home building industry, specifically in Southern California, so strong is a real sense of sincerity and authenticity about trying to find the right home for people, connecting with people on shared experiences, and really engaging with them. And we put it under this moniker of together like never before. And I joke with Megan, that can mean some good things and it can mean some bad things. My wife and I always say, like, wow, we're together like never before. And those are on the moments when we feel like we're going to pull each other's hair out, and on the moments when I think we feel closest to each other, that we can count on each other. And that's what we recognized was happening in home. And so the overhaul of communications, call it maybe April 1 and beyond, really moved into that phase of how can we connect with people like never before? How can we show them that the new home company is there, from websites to e-cards to homeowner communications?
Yeah, and I think it's, like Dan mentioned, we're in this predicament that I don't think any of us would ever have dreamed of. And so it was really important for us to create that emotional tie, to let people know that we feel it too, and that we want them to understand that we're here, and crafting that message to say, if you're in the area of wanting to purchase a home, we're here. But guess what? If you're not, then we're going to create some touch points and social interactions that you're going to see a little bit later that kind of connect with people, and that you can have that environment with people, but not have this hard sell push of that we need to sell homes. It was really important for us to not include, you know, slash sales and incentives and all of that. It was just not the voice that we felt was appropriate to our buyer group.
And one of the things Kelly asked us about with some questions to kind of prep us going into today was, you know, were there some ideas you threw out there that maybe didn't garner the traction that you wanted? And yeah, there were. I mean, we put everything that we had into a series of outreach, and some of it related to more kind of organic social media, and see if we could kind of develop a little bit more earned content from our social following base. And this is a program that, quite honestly, Megan and I feel like we could have done a little bit more with, but we had so many things occurring on our mind and how to take care of, you know, the business that was in front of us, that, there were, I think it's important to be really honest with each other. We tried some stuff. Some stuff didn't go quite as well as maybe we'd liked it, but we were not going to be afraid to kind of put some stuff out there and see if we could get engagement around things. So that's this connection period, this connection phase that I think ultimately led to where we all want to spend most of our time, which is around innovation and where do we go next.
And so it's not a novel idea. If you're on any type of social platform, Instagram or Facebook, I'm sure you've seen the Instagram Lives or Facebook Live events that retail partners are doing, exercise facilities, anyone and everyone. But we felt it was important to connect again with our interest list. And so what we established was that weekly we were going to have each one of our divisions in the new home company participate and feature a neighborhood and have the sales team go along and do a tour of their home and give people a visual representation of maybe what they're perhaps missing from actually walking into the model home. And, we started off and just kind of the thing that it's been incredible is that we have this idea and then literally the next couple days we get it launched. And I'm very proud of how quickly we've been able to react to these kind of environments. And so many of you on this virtual meeting have probably been on there. I see some of the friendly faces that join our Instagram Lives, and I think they've only gotten better. In the beginning, it was kind of like, is there a script? Our salespeople are going, I've never done something like this. And it's a little intimidating carrying around a phone and doing all of that. And I think, they've all handled it with such grace. And I'm so proud of all of them for doing what they're doing and evolving with us. And I think it's been very successful, and it's something that we would like to continue on. And then we also did these amazing, Mastering Life While Thriving in Place. And I'm really proud of these events. This is not any type of hard sell. It's more of, again, creating that like social environment where people can really connect with each other. And they're all Facebook Live or Instagram Live events. So people can come in and ask questions, but they're not really gearing themselves technically to sell a home. It's more creating places where it's, okay, we have a professional organizer that's saying how you can turn your playroom into a classroom, or a Mother's Day wine tasting, or we have this weekend we're doing how to design your own floral arrangement from Trader Joe flowers, and we're kind of coming up with these great ideas of just kind of making it a space where people can connect and just have those really happy moments in a really scary time.
And I'll say, the thing that's really interesting about some of these programs is there's been a lot of surprises along the journey. And, I know Kelly, had asked us about some of those surprises. Kelly, I don't know if you want to kind of set us up for this, but I'd love to talk to the team about some of these things.
Yeah, no, I'm just, one of the things I know people are curious about is what are some of the strategies that you use that worked, and maybe did like surprise you, like, wow, I never really thought about that, or I'm shocked that actually worked and created engagement. And kind of curious, and you sort of talked about it a little bit, if you had just any, total fails.
Well, I mean, I think the only way you fail right this second is by not trying to innovate. And where I do think we found is, surprisingly, practice does make perfect. And especially as you're getting into these innovative spaces where technology is a part of it, maybe making sure your Wi-Fi is going to be working perfectly at an exact time and an exact day, and knowing, the local trash can pickup's not going to come by while you're doing an Instagram Live and it's beep, beep, beep. I mean, all of those things, you can't predict the number of surprises. In some way, with the Zoom and the meetups and all of these things, we've gone live. We are live with people. So the spontaneity of life and all the surprises that go along with it can work their way into sales experiences and marketing experiences. So practice. The in-person versus live one, I think, has been one that's been really interesting for Megan to work with the sales teams too.
Yeah, and I think, you know, with going back to the Instagram lives, and something that I feel has been successful, and I do recommend it to our peers out there. But I think it's given us an opportunity from the marketing perspective to, when I hear one of our salespeople talk and they're giving their presentation, and perhaps they're in a master plan, and I think, gosh, I don't know if I've given them enough tools to really share the story of a master plan, or wow, if they knew this, what I know and I take for granted, perhaps I need to educate in certain respects. So I think it's been a really good opportunity for me to reflect on what marketing provides to the sales teams and how we can even make it better. And then I think, you know, we've worked really hard with PSM, and we did it immediately, you know, in order to, we're all in this predicament together in terms of, you know, keeping our companies viable and kind of, you know, pivoting. We had to cut budgets, and we cut them significantly on the media side. And I'll tell you, the more focused that we have been on our leads and how we digital market and our social platforms, you know, we're getting more results for less money. And I think it's been an incredible lesson for both Daniel's team and my team of going, okay, you know, this is a time for us to really adjust and understand where we're spending our monies. Are we spending them accurately? Should we be putting them in other respects? And just proud of our team that we were able to do a lot with a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think one of the other things that's been a surprise, Kelly, for us has been, look, put in a position to have to make changes and move quickly. That necessity will bring out all the best ideas. Maybe, and I probably shouldn't say this, we don't run things up legal quite as fast as we used to. And maybe we don't, you know, think through the 9 reasons it might not work. We've sort of taken the approach of, if we're not innovating, then we're staying stale. And if we're staying stale right now, then we're not addressing the need of what's going on there. And I think ultimately what we found is that our innovation has led to some critical data points that demonstrate, and it's hard to say success, but silver linings, light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
And, you know, Kelly, when you asked about statistics, I thought the data point 1 for us was massive. You know, we've been trying to really graph out and really kind of look at, you know, where is our traffic coming from? How much, you know, how much traffic are we coming in? What's our web traffic? And so we're kind of analyzing everything. And, you know, we just did a quick read of going, okay, from COVID-19, when it, you know, let's just say around mid-March to now where we are today. And I'll talk Southern California specifically, we had about 390 appointments that were made. You know, there's no foot traffic coming in. It was all appointments made. And we had an 11% sales conversion. From those people that made appointments, 11% of them purchased a home. And I think that's incredible.
Numbers right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm a huge advocate of this. And I know some of, you know, new home team members know this, and I know Daniel does. I think the online sales concierge program is one of the most important things that you can have at your company. And I think that we're going to go to this approach of having a personalized appointment versus, and our salespeople can actually spend time with people, and they're not getting inundated by traffic that's really just looky-loos, or they're looking for a design ideas. It's that we can actually, our Sterling team members are spending 2.5 hours with a potential prospect that comes in. And it's kind of like, they wouldn't be able to give that amount of time if we were just open like we were before. So I think it's a challenge for all of us to look at, you know, we've been doing things the same for a very long period of time. I think it's time, because of what's transpired, that maybe we need to adjust and look at things differently and see what's worked and what hasn't. And I will tell you, for, like I said, the proof in the numbers, that the OSC program is, you know, a very essential program to the new home company. And we're going to continue to put our efforts into that.
And I know we're up against it with time, so I'll just put in a couple more data points here for you guys. Look, we cut the budgets, we cut the media spends, but it is not reflective of that same cut in what we're seeing in web traffic and registrations. We have retained not at the levels we were before, but we have not fallen off in equal measure to what the cuts have been. And some of that is based on point 3. Your lists aren't dead. They're not. People are looking for the right moment and opportunity to consider your community. And we've had an increase of email rates from what were typically opens around 20% to over 30% in the last 60 days. Yes, people are more at home and sort of absorbing more of that content, but we're also making an effort to speak to them on a regular basis. And lastly, look, I am lucky enough to be able to see sales reports from across California, Arizona, multiple master plans. And for me, this is a data point that I've really sort of hammered home with clients that we work with, and New Home has seen it just as clearly, is these buyers are out there, and sometimes it just needs real micro targeting, really highly focused approaches. And for us right now, we're putting a lot of that emphasis toward the rental market, towards the hero campaigns and special incentives tied to heroes, and ultimately to broker supported sales. Those 3 areas in the last 60 days have made up about 70% of all the sales that I've seen come through sales reports. So again, some pockets of hope and light in some really challenging moments.
I'm curious to know, with the email has basically like been making a comeback for the last, year or so, like email is becoming more and more important and prioritized by consumers. And you may, like I said, you might not know this, but I'm curious if you're seeing a higher return on the nurturing of your existing lead databases versus acquiring new leads out there with marketing. Are you seeing a higher return on the email marketing to people who are already on that interest list?
100%. I think that they've been forced to look at a couple things. One, where they're living and how they're living, and that it's not fitting their needs for right this moment. And 2, a conversation that we're having very openly right now is a lot of people who were geographically in a market to purchase because of their employment having a 30-minute drive have expanded the reach of their search significantly based upon the future of telecommuting and telework. So this idea that I had to be 30 minutes from my job to my house has kind of been thrown out the door for a lot of people, because it no longer is a requirement that you have to have that as a demand. So we're able to open up our geographic reach. We're able to go back to our list, bring them new opportunities, new things, because quite honestly, we don't have the budgets that we had before to be creating new leads at the rate that we might have been before. But because of the OSC program, because of the sales teams putting in that time, they're nurturing those leads and taking care of them at such an intimate and personalized level.
Right. So I want to ask you, and someone else is asking this too in our Q&A, and we can get into some more just like different questions and go in a little bit of a different direction here. But someone asked, and I wanted to know this too, did you have to train your sales team to go live? Did they pick it up easily? So the first thing I want to say is kudos to the New Home Company, because I work with a lot of builders and we're all like getting on and doing different strategies for lives and Facebook watches and different ways of presenting our product. But you guys were out there going live pretty fast. What was the response, and how are you training your teams? And like, do you have people who are absolute no, I'm not doing it? What's going on?
Great question. So yes, you're right, Kelly. We went out very quickly, and it started out, in all honesty, was that we put together, Daniel and I worked on like a small, and it wasn't even a script. It was kind of like things to do, things not to do. And that was kind of what we sent out to the team. And we said, just do your normal sales presentation, but have the phone in front of you. And of course, and they did a great job. But what we've noticed now is we are taking, PSM has been incredible in terms of training. They do a training program with us. And then also, so they trained all of our salespeople in terms of how to even log on. A lot of them didn't have Instagram. So we had to teach them how to actually, download Instagram, and then be able to log on to New Home's Instagram. So there's a lot of tedious work in that, but they've all been incredible. And then our marketing managers in our each division, they do with the sales leader a trial run. And so that kind of got enacted a few weeks ago. And so we're doing test case, and then we have like a test Instagram, so then they can do it on their own. So if they're at home and they just want to practice kind of doing that. But in all honesty, in the very beginning, it was not like that. It was just kind of like, you got to go for it. And that's when we started giving more helpful hints, like, hey, let's do more of an intro. Let's talk about the new home company. Let's do this. So each time it's getting better and better and better. But it was very important for me to make it feel organic. And Daniel always uses the example of the South, like a Southwest experience. We didn't want it to feel canned. We wanted it to feel like there might be moments where you see a tractor in the background, because we're giving a dusty shoe tour, but that's okay, because that's our reality right now.
Yeah, oh, definitely. No, I like watching the lives. I love watching my clients do them, because you really learn from doing. You don't know until, like, you can plan out what you want to say all day long, but when that live thing goes live, it's like you forget half of that. I have notes in front of me, or I would forget everything. But you can't have that when you are having to hold a device and you're on your own. You don't have a team of people helping you. So you learn by doing, and then we learn by watching our teams do,
Yeah. And I think too, just to add on, if anyone's interested in doing it, we've also had where we have the partner to the sales team member, they would go on and they're actually answering questions, because that we found that a lot of the sales team was going, hey, I'm trying to give a presentation, I'm trying to hold the phone, and now questions are coming in and I'm trying to type back questions.
Right.
So either if it's a partner of yours or someone, just to be able to log on to help answer questions. And then, or we've had it where someone says, I don't feel comfortable holding the camera, that we've had people, like their partner or whomever, actually hold the camera while they give the tour. So we've kind of evolved it in people's comfort zones.
Okay, so with keeping time in mind, a little less than 10 minutes, we have some questions from our audience. So I want to ask what I can here. One person asks, what would you say is the #1 outreach, market activity, or broker activity that has driven the most sales in the current COVID market? What would you say?
I think intent is everything. And for me, the one thing that we know is if people are doing heavy search, that we want to be in front of them. So we've cut budgets in a lot of places, but we have retained search at a pretty high level. So I think that is pretty critical for us. And I think, and Megan can kind of weigh in as it kind of moves down the funnel. But I think the other activity is we invested quickly. Every one of the marketing managers, we ran out and had a Matterport tour done of every single model in every home. And the analytics that I see on a Sunday night that show #1 right now, whether it's brokers or people on the interest list, spending hours touring homes, looking in closets, clicking and moving all around, trying to figure out if this home is right. I think that what we've done is pave the road, that these people are really qualified and know what they're looking for at a higher level than they ever did before. So the sales teams can get right to selling. So I think great digital tools and search have been probably two of the best areas that we've put out there for the brokers or our interest list or brand new interest.
Yeah, and the resurgence of email marketing, just the amount of correspondence pieces that are going out, and the open rate and how people are actually responding to that, I think has been huge. The Matterport tours that Daniel speaks of, that is now a new home standard. We will not open up a community without Matterports done. Whereas before, honestly, we would look at, not that they're that expensive, but we would look at it and go, I don't think we need it. People come out anyhow. It is now a new home company standard. And I highly recommend it for people, builders that are on the call, if they're not doing it, that it's something to do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of cancellation rates for pre-COVID sales have you experienced, if any?
I'd say that it's minimal. We've been pretty fortunate to know that, we've been working with people that have had a loss of employment. We actually came up with we didn't share it today, but we have a peace of mind campaign that if you did lose your job, there's ways that we can work with you on it. So I think it's minimal. It's not, we haven't seen a huge surge in it. But we're still going through it. And I think, like we're all saying, it's an evolving, deal, and we don't know what the future is going to hold, but it, like I said, it's been pretty small.
Kelly, one of the things that's interesting is in the 10 years that I've worked with Megan and New Home Company, we've never had in escrow communications or backlog communications go out with the level of frequency that they have in the last 60 days. No. So we are talking to, this is on a mass marketing level. I know sales and construction and everyone is working with them, but we've put an emphasis from a corporate marketing level down to stay in touch with that backlog with a lot more frequency than we ever did. We kind of always were like, oh, they're on contract, they're a sale. Our job with marketing is done. We do not approach it that way in the last 60 days.
No.
Oh, I think you're not alone on that. I see that across many of our clients too. Just like the level of communication, they've really ramped it up at every phase of the sale. So I think that's needed. Okay, let's see. Adriana asks, how are you connecting with brokers and getting them to engage? That's a good question. How are you doing that?
It is a good question because we have a program called Broker Lead, and it's a tiered broker program. I know that some of our competitors out there are giving up to 5% for broker co-op fees, and we're just not at that place. So we're reaching out to them. We're huge fans of the broker population, and so we're doing anything and everything we can do. But in terms of extra incentives, that's just not somewhere where we can go. But we have done dedicated email blasts, micro targeting to the broker field, especially when there was a time period where resale agents and couldn't go in, they couldn't be working on the resale side. So we were like, come on over to new home side, and we'll take care of you. So they're part of our sales force, and we respect them, and we'll do whatever we can do. And that's kind of been our approach.
Okay. So here's a comment. This is a good one, and it ends in a question from Richard Russell at Brookfield. He says they are seeing the same results with online sales, many appointments being made, and we're able to spend more time with people more serious about buying now. However, visits by non-serious people are a big part of our corporate goodwill and brand building. Do you think this will negatively affect the brand building? Thanks for the panel.
It's a very good question. Yeah. And I think it actually even goes into the conversation I had earlier today about, events. Like, are we going to continue to do events? Because I would say, grand opening events typically are more for the brand building and more of an environment where you can really build upon, goodwill, where people are sharing, did you see that project? Did you see that project? I think we're going to be, I don't think it will affect us, but because I don't think, our new normal is going to just be by appointment only. At some point there is going to be flexibility of either it's self-guided tours where people can come out, or there might be days where, fully fledged after we're not in stay-at-home mode, that people can come out. But I do think it's a new approach, and I think we're all kind of feeling uncomfortable with it, right? Because is it the right way to just concentrate on people that really are enticed to sell and to buy, or do you concentrate on the whole community of building that community? And I don't know if I have that answer just yet.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has the right answer. There's no like, this is how you should do it right now,
Yeah.
So in the last couple of minutes here before I turn it over to Erin, there's a lot of questions. So I want to say something first. We can look at these questions, and maybe we can do like a post Instagram live or Instagram story. So if we're able to get that together, GSMC board, then everyone should be following on Instagram at Greater SMC. So go there, because if anywhere you're going to find the answers, it's going to be there. And I wanted to ask this sort of last sum up question. I don't know if you thought about this when I sent it to you, but what are some ideas that you guys are thinking about when it comes to making changes, like in sales and marketing post COVID-19? And or how does this, like, what does success look like for 2021 grand opening?
Oh, well, I think we have to write a new definition of what a grand opening is. And we had this conversation that, you know, New Home Company has a master plan in Northern California that's essentially ready for a grand opening. And, you know, I think we need to move towards personalized, intimate, highly valued experiences that are specific to individual needs. And, you know, the old saying is that in a digital marketing world, every ad campaign is custom built just for you. I think we need to move that way towards grand openings. Every grand opening should be custom built to that individual versus mass experience. And I think that's a great step forward because I think people need it ultimately. So that's my thought.
I like it. Megan, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I think just kind of what I had mentioned about the OSC being an integral part of your team if you're a builder, and putting a lot of thought into what they do and beefing up that program. I think also self-guided tours where, you know, especially with, you know, teams that are kind of having to shrink a bit right now, do you offer, and I know a lot of home builders out there are doing that, do you offer the ability of people to tour things when they want to and on their own time? Brookfield appropriately called it my time, and I think it's kind of this new world of the Uber and all of that where you're really looking at things and going, like Dan mentioned, like more of a personalized experience. And it's going to be hard for us because we've done things so similarly for so long. But I think the personalization of the online sales concierge to be viewing homes at your own leisure, and then for the sales team to actually be concentrating on who they should be concentrating on, will really be, as Sarah Breen always says, our new normal.
Sarah Breen, shout out.
Told you, get it, Sarah.
Oh, I love it. Well, you guys, thank you so much for preparing for this and spending this hour with us. I am going to I will stay on my video until Erin shows up on her video. So thank you for being here. I know everybody appreciates your time. And I just want to say congratulations to all of the winners of the awards that Erin is about to present. So
hi, can everyone hear me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Bye.
All right, who's ready to recognize some rock star sales professionals? There we go. All right, we're going to be recognizing our 2020 first quarter winners. First, we're going to talk about our achievement awards. Let's recognize 2 of our teams at Brookfield Residential. We've got about 6 teams at Toll Brothers who have excelled in sales volume. We've got 1 team at Party Homes and another at Lancy Homes. Here we have a group at TriPoint Homes, as well as a couple of groups at Ultimate New Home Sales and Marketing. And we have a handful of sales associates and sales teams to recognize at the New Home Company. All right, so now with that said, we are going to move on to our rookie sales professional. This sales associate has been with Party Homes for only 8 months. He is a rookie who joined an established team and outsold the 4 other experienced advisors while exhibiting honesty, integrity, and 100% transparency. He demonstrates great leadership skills, responds to special challenges, especially in this changing environment, with commendable energy and supports his partners with grace and positivity. I'm proud to announce Brian Wilson of Party Homes as our rookie sales professional of the quarter. All right, now we're going to be moving on to sales professional, selling product priced under $500,000. Working in a regentrified neighborhood, this sales associate was challenged by adjacent rundown apartments, a less than desirable location on a busy street, and most challenging were the rigid city restrictions on 5 moderate income affordable homes, which she tackled head on, meeting with city representatives to understand the ins and outs and finding a way through these restrictions to sell and close 4 out of those 5 affordable homes. She has had 17 sales in the first quarter in a very hard to find community. I'm very proud to announce Natalia Greathouse of Strategic Sales and Marketing as our first quarter sales professional winner, selling product price under $500,000. And now we're moving on to the sales team selling product price under $500,000. Here we have this sales team has been selling at an active adult community where a lot of buyers have not purchased a home in probably 30 to 40 years, thus needing extensive assistance navigating the buying process and picking out their choices, amenities, and upgrades. Many buyers visit 3 to 6 times before purchasing, and each appointment is a minimum of 2 hours. With a long sales process, sometimes lasting up to 18 months, this team keeps buyers engaged by inviting them to attend on-site lifestyle events, allowing them to experience the amenities. The team has exhibited continuous drive, creativity, and dedication, resulting in sales success. Once COVID happened, they quickly adapted to doing business differently and effectively fought to keep their backlog together. They adjusted to virtual appointments and video presentations. I'm proud to announce the Atlas team of Party Homes as our first quarter sales team winner. With this group is Luann Nihas, Brian Wilson, Lou De Palma Mills, Parker Duarte, and Christina Pareto. Moving on to our next category, we have sales professional selling product price between $500,000 and $999,000. The location of Vista Cielo has been very difficult to drive traffic to, with city signage restrictions and distance from freeways or other new home communities, plus an extremely low marketing budget. This sales associate spends any free time calling on realtors, pitching at caravans, visiting local successful businesses, and even reaching out of the local area via social media, video calls, texting, and e-blasts. He never gives up and always has a positive attitude. Albert has exhibited savvy sales professional skills with guerrilla sales marketing strategies. He managed to sell 15 homes in 13 weeks with only 2 cancellations, all during a weak market with little foot traffic. He's the dream salesperson to make things happen, and he flat out gets the job done. I'm proud to announce Albert Ponce as the Q1 sales professional, selling product priced $500,000 to $999,000. Congratulations, Albert. Now we're moving on to the sales team selling product priced $500,000 to $999,000. Long before models were open, this sales team was meeting prospects on site, painting a vision and future promise of what living at Lantana would be like. Even now, with all the disruption in the world, the Lantana team does an amazing job of continuing to manage the entire process of keeping prospects engaged, continuing to have successful sales, even with price increases, and they are able to calm the fears of those in escrow by reminding them why they chose their new home in the first place. They had 54 sales in the first quarter. They opened a good product and had to manage and work as a team to get it done. The Brookfield Homes Lantana team of Richard Russell, Teresa No, Frank Badeau, and Sylvia Yang is the epitome of a synergistic relationship, each with their own unique strengths and talents pulling together. And I'm proud to announce them as sales team of the quarter for product price between $500,000 and $999,000. Now we'll be announcing sales professional selling product over 1 million. This sales associate continually exceeds monthly sales goals and has successfully met 66% of Beacon's goals all by herself. She has the ability to organically communicate with buyers and narrow down the buyer's true needs and wants in order to deliver the dream home. She is constantly thinking outside the box to find creative ways to sell homes. She shows patience and compassion while serving her buyers. I'm proud to announce Shanta Ferguson with Toll Brothers as sales professional of the quarter, selling home priced over 1 million. Congratulations, Shanta. And with that, we conclude. Thank you to all of our rockstar sales professionals. We know that there's nothing that's going to break their stride. Tune in next month for our next GSMC online event, Wednesday, June 17th. Everyone stay safe and happy, and cheers out there.